Hey guys, I'm learning TFT, and I'm sharing my learnings with you so that you can learn better and I can learn more effectively as well. In this video, I'm going to share with you a coaching session with Marcel P, where we dive into two separate Holobow Zeri games. You can see here that Exotech Zeri has the highest top 4 share. It has the highest pick rate out of any comp in the game right now. Oftentimes at high elo, this is being contested 2, 3, sometimes 4 ways. And on top of that, because Exotech is gaining in popularity as well, you are highly contested on your Sejuanis, which make it very hard to hit. So we talk about kind of the high level strategy and impact of what that means given this comp's popularity. And some of the highlights, just to share with you my takeaways, is because Zeri is so contested, Marcel was suggesting that oftentimes you may want to consider full opening if you can't win streak, and or having strong econ, or if you are on an econ portal to go into Zeri, because otherwise it can be very hard to do that. And one of the games that we go into, I pick Buried Treasures as the 2-1 augment because that's super strong with Exotech. I had Holobow, I believe, as the first Exotech item. And so I thought I had a great setup, but because I lacked this econ and it was contested like 4 ways, it was ended up being very hard to hit. We talked about how if you open your team planner at the start of the game, put in Jax, hover Exotech, you can see your own Exotech items. But then if you use your hotkeys to switch players, usually that's 1. If you just press 1 or 3 over and over again, it will switch players. And then you can hover off and hover back on to see what Exotech items your opponents have. This is a really great way if you have Holobow, for example, to see how many opponents will likely contest you. Likewise, if you are kind of on the fence around playing Exotech, if a lot of opponents have Holobow, you can eliminate that path with high probability of it being contested. Another learning is that I placed a naked Sejuani outside of my front line, and that ended up having him be killed first before he's stunned, because you oftentimes want to try to put Sedge two from the front left or 2 from the front right to stun the enemy corner carry. And I was trying to greed that, but Marcel's point is it's better to stun a bunch of enemy units that are not the carry than to have no stun at all. And it's extremely important in this meta to actively scout to see if you're contested. And one point that he repeatedly mentioned is if you are low on gold for your 4-2 roll down, you really do need to pick the hacked gold plus gold augment on the left side if that is provided as an option, because that can make or break your ability to hit at least 1 Zeri on your roll down. So with that said, I'm going to jump into the coaching session with Marcel. I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I actually feel like this meta is, as it's now like towards the end of the patch, it's actually pretty difficult to be consistent because there realistically are really such a few number of lines that are actually like competitive.
Yeah, it seems
Without
like
like
everything is just so high variance in hitting.
Yeah, if you manage to find an uncontested line, then I feel like it doesn't feel that high variance. But the thing is, it's hard to find one because there are like 4 comps. It's like Vayne TF, and then Veigar sort of, but like I feel like you want like a really rich game somehow, and then Zeri, Vex, and then sort of Brand, but Brand is sort of already gradually falling out of favor.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where I've landed. Just trying to figure out how to execute. I have 2 Holobow Zeri games and 1 Vex game that maybe we can skim through. Yeah, just
Down.
like playing contested, I think is challenging to figure out like where to optimize certain spots.
Yeah, let's do it.
How's your scrim practice stuff going?
It's going well. Actually, so the team was initially me, Robin, Dank Memes, and Kai Wang, and it's for
Mhm.
next weekend. They only announced the dates though like 2 days ago, and I actually can't make next weekend. So I found this stuff for myself, and I'm now like playing as like doing like staff work on the team, like as a coach, and like
Oh,
helping them out
cool.
on comms and whatnot. I never knew if I'd like this sort of stuff because I much prefer competing,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to screw over this roster, and at the same time, it'd be kind of fun still to be associated with this group. We already did a bunch of scrims before, and so I'm enjoying it for sure. It's a very different game, but at the same time, selfishly as well for me, as always, it's always beneficial to be around what I consider really good players and
Mhm.
just see high quality games. But 4v4 is definitely like a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Who's subbing for you?
Solus. We were able
Oh,
to, I
okay.
think we were looking at a couple others, but then yeah, ended up being Solus. Who
Cool,
was a
cool.
good player for sure.
Yep. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yes. No
Actually,
surprises to what you ended up playing with the title, but I mean, yeah, you should be playing lots of Holobow Zeri and Vexo tech games.
I need to make the screen a little bit smaller. Is this still okay for you?
Yeah. Do you know what your Portal and Exo are here? This game? Because unfortunately, the thing didn't
No.
capture
Yeah. And I
points.
usually
That's fine.
check. I usually check.
During a Portal screen,
Yeah.
your Exo items. Okay. Um.
I guess maybe one thing that could be helpful is going over unit hold tier list first.
Yeah, I'm not to do that.
Let me share my.
Do you have a list you already have that, and then I can also try to get that one myself.
All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
Actually,
Mm,
let me switch it to this window so I can edit it. Okay. I don't know if Morgana deserves to be up here, like just because Vex if you have like blue buff.
the way I feel about one cost holds this patch is there a lot of them are basically very component dependent. I think
Mhm.
Morgana when you have a tier is yeah, I can believe that it's like high A, maybe low S because it gives you such a good line to play into Vex. Because you play her keeper, she holds all the items really well. I've even seen um really good players like on 4-1, 4-2 when they hit Vex 2, not move items off a 2-star Morgana. And it I thought that was definitely incorrect, but it didn't even look as I'd watched the fights, it didn't even look necessarily incorrect. Because Morgana 2 with a lot of traits activated and 3 items, including blue buff, is good. Oh, why do you have Kindred as S?
Mainly as I kind of put these two together as just Rageblade holders, and then but this kind of like more naturally fits with the Exotech units.
The Exo. Um, the thing is, the way I've seen Exotech do, so the more reliable way I've seen Exotech played is more so from Cypher/Open because it's like those Callista Recon metas where when a
Mm-hmm.
line is going to be 3-wayed, playing early fairy was not a very good way to play. The way to play into a 3-way was to always like try to take Econ and just full open. And I feel like Kindred is also not really a good Rageblade holder.
Yeah.
Um, and so then I agree that you do want the 2-star Kindred eventually, but I feel like Nitro's not very good anymore. Kindred to me feels like more like like an A or B kind of unit. Um,
So
I
same with Kog'Maw then, or are you valuing Kog'Maw more?
Kog'Maw to me feels more like a bot for it's either like you randomly have a bunch of upgrades and you can use it as a Rage Blade holder, especially if it's upgraded. But the units that don't, so and this unit goes into the TF line. So like with the bow, I can sort of like I feel like holding this doesn't feel that awful in that sense. But the way I've been playing the patch at least is that the units that don't go onto all the meta comps being Vayne, TF, Veigar to a lesser degree, the Exo boards and Brand. The units that don't go onto those lines, I guess Zyra and Mundo do go onto Brand, but like you need them so much later that I wouldn't consider him. The units that don't go onto those boards on stage 2, 3, I only really value when you have like a really strong board. Personally, that's how I've been playing the patch. So like if I have like Zyra 2, Mundo 2, Alistar paired, then or something like that, like some combination of those, like 3 of them paired, then I start to value them because I can play them all together and potentially put together a win streak. And maybe I won't even be in that amazing of a spot, but I'll have an HP buffer, as opposed to others who had worse spots and don't have the HP buffer. And then the units that are in those lines, right? Like Silas, like Poppy when you have the Veigar, like Jax when you have like a Mord Orb, I guess or when you have Holobow. These units I view more as conditional holds based on the components. So maybe like a tier list and for this patch I feel like is a little more challenging to truly like commit to because it feels more committal in that sense. Like you either are committing to a line or you're trying to win streak or you're trying to open. I feel like it's a mix of you're doing like one of 3 things ideally, I think.
Okay. Okay, so it's basically to reflect back what I'm hearing. You're holding if you can be strong, which usually means like probably two stars or at least 1 2-star with multiple pairs.
Yeah,
And
synergistic unit in that regard.
And a lot of these holds are highly dependent on item components. Like Shaco, Shaco and Mundo are like kind of trade bots for Vayne, but they can also
you can reroll it if you have it's more conditional, but yeah, this one is like an item check really, like component envelope check and 2-star early.
And then these 2 is more so if you have like a good Exo or Veigar start. This is like these 2 is basically bow rod and can item hold into Vayne. I mean, both of these can go to Vayne. Same with this. And this is to Vex. Like, I guess this with these Seraphine and Mundo like kind of work together if you just happen to have all 2-star items, like slammable
she's just
item.
weaker. Yeah, as a unit, she's just weaker, but not. Yeah, I think B is fine. I don't know if Seraphine is S though. I feel like Seraphine is still like reasonably good, but I would put Seraphine and Morgana in like high A. And honestly, even Silas is like, even Silas, honestly, I would put in A as well. I don't consider Silas like a must hold. I think it's more like this, and maybe Mundo in like B as well. And then this looks more like if I had tier list units, it looked more like this. I think.
Okay. And
maybe Kog'Maw 1 tier down, but yeah, that's fine. I feel like he's just not that strong. Yeah. Oh, Nidalee I'd also put in because Nidalee. The one thing I'll say about Nidalee is that she's probably the strongest 1 cost unit standalone. And so if you 2-star a unit and it's traitless and you want to win streak with it, Nidalee is the best one out of like this whole list. There's a reason why she's the one unit that can solo neutrals, right? She has way too much sustain and DPS as a 1 cost, and so I won streak many boards or 4 win stage 2 with just a random Nidalee 2 as like my, whether it's a Sunfire holder or just something to shore up my front line a little. And it also gives DPS and sustain, right?
So you put.
And also conversely, I will say if you're ever trying to lose 2-6, you should never have Nidalee on your board. I've seen both myself and other players in our 4v4s, people grief their loss streak because they have the world's weakest board, but there's one Nidalee 1 on the board and the unit just sustains way too much and just wins. A fight that looks completely unwinnable.
Okay, so you would put Nidalee like A, or
it's like high B, low A, because it doesn't go into any of the issue is it doesn't go into any of the boards, but it's more so like this unit can easily be a part of your win streak board. So I wouldn't consider her like a never hold.
Are you playing any Nitro at all now?
No, basically none. I think you can the one line that exists more like meta with it is is not Fury, sort of, but like that one I feel like is more of an artifact check slash a lot of tempo and units check. Or maybe like lucky shops, you have the units already kind of thing. And Nitro can go. It usually is played on that board. It's a very standard way to play it. I have seen in 4v4s people still play like Nitro into Zeri, like 5 Exo, and like I can see like reasons to play that if you have like the units early. It's your strongest board. You're playing sort of from ahead, and your 5 Exo is good. Your 7 is trash. Because 5 Exo board without Nitro is usually, I think MF is the most is the best variant if you have leftover items. Without leftover items, that the 5 Exo board is not very um set in stone. It's like Gragas and 5 cost is like the ideal way to play it, but you're not going to find the 5 cost all the time.
Okay. 2 costs.
Yeah, I agree with Vayne. I agree with Vagar. I agree with Vagar is both Vayne and Vagar are
Yeah.
item conditional. I would say Vayne is less so because you only need 1 bow, I think, to convince yourself that, and even 0 bows, if you're like Rod, Cloak, and you're like kind of you feel like you can get carousel choice or an item somehow. Vayne, I think, is less conditional. Vagar, could be wrong about it, but I find Vagar more conditional in the sense that you really, really want the 2 tiers. And then Jin, yeah, I consider very high as well. LeBlanc definitely S. I also agree with TF being like good, but not as good as Vayne. Rost goes onto those boards. Yeah, I can agree. Shyvana, so many traits. You're never like that unhappy holding this unit. Can go on Vagar board. Also agree. Let me see the rest of the units. I think I
Higher?
I don't I think I don't consider Ilaoi as that amazing. Um
Mainly for
I don't think
Vayne,
I have many
like you
disagreements
get
with
rid
it.
of. Okay.
Yeah, I think I like this list. Maybe in yeah, I think I like this list. Not Fury is like also a unit for her own comp, but at the same time she's not amazing. So yeah, I think B is fine as well. I think I like this list. Graves also like is not the best unit, but can farm you gold. So like how can you put that unit in C or D? Echo is worthless. Um yeah, I think I agree with this.
Okay.
Draven Galio, usual suspects. Mord, yeah, agree. Rengar, more of an item check, but I generally agree. If you have the items, you're never selling this guy just because it gives you such an easy direction to play towards. Jarvan, yeah, agree. Way too broken. Senna Varus. I would say Varus is a little more conditional in that you want to make sure you have at least like some of the, like if you have literally 0 Exo units, I feel like I start to value holding him less because you're never going to win streak around Exo anyway. If you're 0 Jax, 0 Jin, 0 Navieri.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So like, unless you're
I don't know if I
playing.
drop him. I guess I just I would like to add like a conditional tag on him, like
Okay.
because like Draven and Galio you hold obviously no matter what. Even Jarvan, I feel like you can argue holding no matter what. Even Mord, you can argue holding no matter what. Rengar, like whereas like units like Senna, I guess can item hold like if you're wanting to somehow like attempt a 2 or 3 streak. Let me see the rest of these. Yumi is definitely D. Elise.
I
Yeah, I
think.
think Elise is A because she's such a good holder for Vex. Is the
Yeah.
thing. She's easily the best way to play into Vex, I think, as well as Varus. So I guess they enable a really good line in that sense. Jinx is not bad. Yeah, I think Jinx Gragas being B is also good. I think I mostly agree with this list again.
Okay. Cool. All right. So it's mainly the 1 costs, and I think I'm like trying to. I feel like I'm getting closer on like putting these tiers together, but reverse engineering from what the meta is. But the whole point around like figuring out, if I were to figure out on my own without you mentioning to me, like, oh, when a meta is full open or like kind of more conditional, I think that I kind of have to. I guess I just need to watch more streams to be able to come to that conclusion on my own.
Yeah, I think watching streams, and then you also have to realize that like my take may not be up 100% accurate as well. But yeah, I think it didn't look like your tier list is like way off base or anything. Yeah, I think I tend to try to simplify my strategy in general compared to like other top players. I'm more on that side. So then I tend to be more conditional about like, okay, if I have these items, this unit's good. Whereas like for someone like maybe Dish Soap is more down to just play broadly win streak stage 2 around like some random stuff. Like I will allow myself to do that if I clearly have a win streak line. Whereas maybe Dish Soap would rate stronger units higher. Maybe he puts Nidalee at I don't know. I'm just spitballing saying that it's possible my take on the meta around one cost being super conditional is just my own take.
Mhm. Okay. Cool. So then with that out of the way, let's go into. So I assume we still buy the Morgana even though like we don't have tiers.
Let me
Or
see
do
your.
you sell?
Can you share it? Go back to sharing the
Oh
VOD now.
yeah.
I think it's still on the thing. I was thinking that as well as you're holding the Morgana. Like, do we really
Oops.
value this when we're sword chain? And um, oh, can you full screen the or not? Yeah, that's better. That's better. Um, so I think here with sword chain, you're always holding Naafiri, and so then you're always holding Nidalee. So the question is more, are we wanting to hold the other units over the Morgana too? And I'm fine with holding this Morgana, I think, because you can potentially attempt a win streak around like Naafiri. Oh, I wouldn't hold 4 of them though. I'd probably sell one and buy Silas, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, even if you did 3-star Morgana, when your items are sword chain, it's just gonna burn a hole in your pocket. You may not even win streak with. You probably will not win streak with.
Right. Are you at the start of each game trying to go through everyone's Exotech to just see how many people are gonna go Zeri?
Only when I think in general you should, but I really, really definitely do it when I have good exo items because then
Okay.
or when I have good exo items or a good exo like opener. Like now, I would say you have a reasonable way to play Vex, right?
Yeah.
Uh, looks like your title is saying you have Holobow Zeri, but here, I don't know what your if you have your other your other exotech items are, but I'm a little more down to play Zeri here. Sorry, Vex with your items, right?
Okay. Even with Holobow?
Yeah, just because I think if you have Holobow and what's the other
Pulse?
item?
Pulse
Pulse.
stabilizer?
Then it's easier because you only need 2 components.
Mhm.
But um, yeah, I feel like here, if you try to play Zeri here, you're gonna end up in the spot where you're gonna want to make a Rage Blade, but you have your units are not Rage Blade units. Like here, if
Mm.
you could make a blue buff, your spot is pretty good, right? Because you blue buff your Morgana. Maybe you play around Vagar, but then like there's some world you can play around Vagar, but yeah.
Okay. And from here,
I
I'm
want to
just.
know I want to
I'm.
know the portal because there's like a really small chance that you can. It's not gold sub, I guess, because I mean, it's not a gold portal, but I was gonna say that investment strategy Vagar is very good. I've seen it do really really well.
Uh,
Uh, but I don't
I
think it's amazing here because you're not that rich.
feel like one of these games is all prismatic. I'm not sure if it was this one.
Gotcha. Could you go back to your roles again? Your first augment choices. Hmm. Um, you don't like any of these just to start? Is that how you're playing this? Like,
Like investment strategy, like you mentioned, could be towards Vagar. Quality over quantity, I've played with the brand Ziggs board pretty well. I mean, that would probably be strongest board right now. Slam
yeah,
Shojin.
I guess you don't have frontline pairs is the thing. So I can see why you're hesitant to even really truly consider QOQ. But yeah, I'm down to roll right too, or even all.
Yeah, and then once I saw Buried Treasures, I was like, I probably prefer that over QOQ. I guess worth the
Yeah,
wait, like, could be okay, but like a lot of it is Rage Blade oriented, right? And I don't have both.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. That it's kind of scary to take this with your items. So I am down to roll left, and I'm down to default middle as well.
I guess going long
I'm
is
not sure
pretty
about.
good
Yeah,
with.
I'm not sure about this one. I feel like going long. If it is prismatic party, I think going long is best
Yeah.
because it guarantees you have gold to hit your units. Whereas if you take buried treasures, you must hit and you must
Mhm.
hit precisely what is it? Invested. Without invested, you're never hitting all your forecasts with high likelihood. Or like some insane gold situation from like orbs and what hacks and whatnot.
Okay, so buried treasures I'd be more likely to take if it was like a econ portal.
Yeah, I think so. I don't hate it, to be fair. Um, but because taking going long, you typically want to win streak, but your items you don't really want to slam right now. So yeah, there's some argument for like going long. You basically have to slam like a Shojin or a Vow if you really want to win streak. And you don't really want to be doing that. But I think strongest here is double Rost, right? I guess you're not yeah, if you're not gonna try to win, then it's this.
It would be double
Oh,
Rost with
I think
Slam, Gunblade, and Open Tier if I want to
yeah,
play
I
towards
think
Vex.
I'm surprised you sell everything here. If I were to like, I'm surprised you sell what you sell. I would keep the Morgana with your items. I'd keep Morgana too.
Yeah, I think it's because I think pretty sure it was first Exo is Holobow, and so I was just like tunnel visioning on Zeri. So then I'm thinking I'm not gonna be winning early game against other augments that are like Lucky Gloves or Combat. So I might
But it's
as
not
well
as
hold
early
on.
game, right? Like, what is your plan for stage 3? Like your Morgana 2 can be your item holder for stage 3, but now we have no stage 3 as well.
Hmm.
Like
So
you're one component away from being like Bis Vex basically. Your blue buff Gunblade Morgana. Yeah, you might have a slow start here because your augment ramps up, but by 3-1 you can argue you're in like you have one of the strongest boards, minus units, minus people that have like rolled for their entire board, but you will not be that weak if you'll have all your core items. Whereas now you might hit all your items for Zeri, but your stage 2 is weak, and then your stage 3 is also weak, and you're not rich. I don't like the
mm,
game plan here of just Zeri from no econ because you're just gonna have all you have are items and that's it. You have no econ to hit, and
mhm.
we don't really know how contested we are,
Okay.
or maybe you do. I didn't truly see your scouting, but it's very possible we're putting ourselves in a situation where you have no gold into like a 3-way contest.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Oh yeah, and when I am one of the Zeri players and I see someone like this that played into my line from a no econ spot, I get upset. I'm like, why are they playing into this line? They already know they're never gonna hit. They have no gold, and yet they just play into my line when I played it. That's basically my thinking when I run into players that
Well, now
have
you
this.
know the thought process of someone that's doing that. Clearly not thinking clearly. Okay, so I should just play towards the better spot. All right. Okay. I don't even know if it's worth finishing this game then, because it's pretty much just
We
plays
can
out like
jump to
you.
like augment selection maybe if you wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can still go over the other games as well. Um, let's see yeah, these components are AGS is fine. I'm probably down for adaptive. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so we had this kindred too, but like now we're likely like mixed streak stage 3 as well. So we're gonna be like in this middling spot where we're not healthy nor are we rich. Um, depending on
So
how contested you are, you might even have to take tiniest here. But
yeah, I think it's contested two other ways. Let me just double check. Um,
I mean, implants is like really good for synergizing with berry treasures, but it's just not amazing for your spot because you're basically gonna have to. I didn't see how poor you were, but yeah, you're gonna be in the spot where you are not gonna be able to hit really.
okay, so it's three other players contesting Zeri and one other player contesting Vex.
Oh, you're supposed to play, you're supposed here from this spot, you're supposed to play Vanguard Marksman from this exact spot now. You see a
Okay.
three-way contest. Your items are really good for Aphelios. You have good front line. You have like you're not even that weak. You have marksmen. You have Vanguard units. You're meant to play Vanguard Aphelios, and you just take your fifth or fourth and get out. And you just pray that these three players all get stuck on one. You hold Sejuani, you hold Zeri to deny them, and you take a placement over all three of them.
Okay.
And you're allowed to take implants now because now you don't even need gold, right? Because you're playing the uncontested line.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can even take a top three, top two here because your setup is really good, right? Your items are basically BIS. Your front line is basically BIS. You're gonna have anti heal. You have implants buried. It's such an insane combo. You just have to hit and you have good you will have good belief that you'll hit with being uncontested. Like in this way here now, if any one player with non econ hits Zeri, your spot's quite hard. I do agree that this is the best augment to take if you're playing Zeri, but I feel like if you know there are three other players, I'd rather just like if you take implants, you're gonna be even stronger at stage 3, right?
Yeah.
And then um like you have like 4 Vanguard 4 marksman kind of sucks, but like yeah, you definitely play this. I still don't think you're even guaranteed to truly win because you're not weak, but I mean you're strong, but like Rageblade Kindred is just I think you win most of these fights though, right? I think. Nope.
All right, let me jump ahead. Okay, so I had what? I
You have
assume,
like
given that we're contested so many ways, we level here.
you
Oh, yeah,
must for
okay.
sure. Um yeah, I would open sell everything, like the Galio, like just everything already. Just
Okay.
because you know you must play around and you must hit right now. Otherwise, you lose all your units. It looks like you missed
Yeah,
on
just
Zeri.
whiffed. Yeah. And then it's
Whiffed
pretty
on
much game
Zeri, and
over.
then I think at this point that you've taken Tiniest Titan, I would not fault you for not. I don't know if you even hit units like Aphelios or Zaya, but it's hard to fault anyone for not picking up those units. It's kind of hard to flex both sides.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard. Um, I don't think it's binary, right? Because you must have
Have too
you
many
don't
items.
well I guess you could binary all your non-Zeri units. I was gonna say because you need those 3 items on Zeri, but I guess you could binary the rest of your unit. Actually, it's fine. It's fine. I don't mind it.
The
You can
binary
binary every
adds the Exotech value too, right? Or tick
yeah, and
value.
then you can just not binary your Zeri. You just have true best Zeri and binary everyone
Yeah.
else. I don't mind. But I think you just continue to okay. You're finding the
Yeah.
other units now, but yeah, at this point your game's fucked.
It's over. Okay.
Um, Yeah, but if you're 4-way, this is what tends to happen, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I would still say that you low rolled because you probably had close to the most gold, unless there's a hedge fund player or something like that. But um, I think that the game plan should have been playing around either. I think even the Vex line, if you know it's 4-way contested, is also not even good. Like from your opener, you also could have played it into Zig's brand if you did not see it was very contested,
Right.
because you had sword tier Rod and Morgana too. Like yeah, Shojin's not Bis Morgana, but I mean you could play around that, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
if Zig's brand is not contested, I think you'll be in a better spot than this. Um and then the other one is a Vanguard Marksman from 3-2 based on scouting, and you play for like a fifth or third.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a Zaya, there's an Aphelios. Another
Yeah,
Aphelios.
you're expected to hit, right? Like if no one is playing this line, you'll hit this for free.
Yeah.
Everyone is holding Sejuani, Zeri, Vex now. So I think that
Okay.
that line, you might still take some frustrating losses to 1-star Zeri Sejuani, but if you have a buried treasures, prismatic, but implants, like it's unlikely. If
Yeah.
you're upgraded, you'll like I've done pretty well mid game with Aphelios, not because he's good, but because you just have more upgrades and more combat than the people that are opening into Zeri.
Okay. All right. Let's go into the other
No,
Zeri
you get
game.
the match start here for whatever reason.
Yeah.
This one is Annie, and
Oh,
Exo is, what was it? Holobow Lantern Chassis. Okay.
that's pretty much ideal for Zeri, right?
I think so. Yeah, the two tank ones, the
I
two
guess
good
other
tank
than
ones.
Pulse and Holobow.
Yeah, that's true. You prefer Pulse for sure, but I mean this one's very good as well. And you're not forced to play 7. You can play 5. You can like go 7 into 5, anything like that. Golden Gala. Okay. Like here, I would be looking at how many other Zeri players there are. I would look at how many Holobow players there are. You know how to do that quickly? Like you can just and you can stay in your planner and then just use your hotkey for jumping around units,
What?
jumping around boards.
Wait, really? Oh,
Yeah. So you just stay in your own planner and then you
oh,
press
that's
like
so
3,
much. Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you just you have to hover off and on the exo trait. So if you leave your cursor on exo, it'll continue to show you your own. But when you're on someone else's board, if you just hover off and hover back on, then it'll show you their exo, and you
Oh,
can just
that's
very
so much
quickly
easier.
scout. Yeah, you don't have to go to each player's board and then find a jacks or open up plan. You just stay on your planner. You just press 3, hover off, hover on, press 3, hover off, hover on.
Okay, yeah, you can see I'm like trying to see which players have exos and like click on them.
Yeah, initially that's what I was doing as well, but then I forget where I saw it. But yeah, you can just do the planner approach.
All right, so I pretty much feel like I'm committed to Zeri with the open rod. So left, probably. I guess pumping up could work too.
Yeah, I just don't know how contested we are is the concern here. Do you know? Did you get to
So
see?
would
Oh,
have
I
a
guess you don't know the ex. Yeah, you don't know the Holobow approach. Yeah, the Exo Scout. So yeah, if you
yeah,
don't know that, that's hard.
I checked two people and they
Mhm.
did not have Holobow. But yeah, that
Okay,
does
I mean,
not.
based on our limited information, I mean, I'm kind of down to take left. Let's down to roll middle and right for sure. Golden Gala. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Jinna Fury. We have no jacks, but just whatever. Yeah, I'm still fine with this. Mm, I don't know if I like this though. Like the way we're playing this. Uh,
So
I feel
still
like
econ.
here, shouldn't we just sell everything and play Jin? Like if we're truly committed Zeri, I'm kind of down to just like what are the odds that we put together a not mixed streak here? I guess you could, but you're gonna be so poor.
That's what I kind of had in mind last game, right? It's just full sell.
But the thing is, this board is so mid. Like the
Yeah,
last board is like you like your state. So I guess I think of it this way. If I look at this board right now, your stage 3 with this board is doomed, whereas your stage 3 with the Morgana sword tier rod is pretty good
I see.
and buried treasures.
With if I land a bow, then it's not too bad, right? But without a bow,
But how are we getting bow in last game? We're not. We're basically guaranteed no bow.
okay, so you definitely don't like this play. Then.
Well, yeah. Now I mean, I don't. I don't hate it. I just feel like it's more so that we would have been in a better spot if we 3 lost into this with this board being richer, and we would get. I guess you win this? If you won this, then it starts to sort of look better. Okay, we won this,
And
then
that's like 5 golden
yeah.
value, right? For winning
Yeah, then
richer.
you actually got it. I mean, you could have gotten more gold by selling. I think.
Really?
Because you'd have econ, right? You would have not held. Let's see. Would you have had more gold if you're 3 loss versus 3 win? You'd be minus 3 gold on the wins, but you would have 1 econ from. You would
One
make 10
here
here. You would make 10 here, and then you would make 20 on 2-3, right?
plus
Be the
two
same.
plus. Okay, same. But
Same. It'd be the same.
okay, I guess
But you would have pick, and then you also are likely to 5. You could 5 loss.
right.
Yeah, you'd be in the same gold situation. You'd have a slightly worse shop odds, and then because you're lower level, and then uh
And somehow
You would get this bow. You would get this bow for sure.
I got it
But
anyway.
you got it anyway. Okay. Okay. So then now the prospects look pretty good, right? Because now you can even to this board you can potentially streak. Oh, like here I'm down to play the Galio, for example. Over the yeah, you could lose econ, but if I'm truly playing for streak, I would play strongest here.
Okay.
And this guy's level 4, so you probably win. And you can make econ with Galio. I think next turn is when you make 5, 2 plus 1, 8. Yeah, you wouldn't make econ with Galio here, even if you won. But oh, he came back. Oh, but now it's techie. Yeah, this makes sense.
I wonder if this is a situation where putting the Sunfire on the.
So if you really don't want to burn a remover, I feel like I could see it being diff, but you could also just sell the.
Sell the. Oh,
Like
but
I
then you
think
lose Techie.
definitely losing techie is stronger. Losing techie but having items stacked, I think, is stronger than having techie but not having items stacked.
I see.
In my opinion, especially because Lantern also scales off HP, right?
Right.
These items look so good.
You don't ever play Cypher here, right?
On a 1 loss, I think I would. I think I would consider it. I can see why you'd be hesitant because I'd also be a little hesitant in the spot during the game, but especially because you have to break econ to even hold it, right? The thing is, we lost our streak.
Mm-hmm.
We lost our streak, and then we're guaranteed mixed streak anyway. Like this board is not that. Like the question is how much HP is this board gonna save over a Cypher board? It definitely would save HP, but I feel like I would rather just.
Because we're gonna lose 2 rounds of interest, like more than that actually, right? Like for holding all of the Cypher. I mean, I guess next round we could just sell all the non-Exo, non-Cypher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just sell the Nefiri.
Yeah, it's 6 gold worth that we have to hold. It's not like an insane amount, but it is not nothing.
And if we do play Cypher, the game plan is just lose all of stage 3.
It depends on how the lobby looks. Like you could easily just play like units with Cypher, and there's no guarantee that you would win a round. Maybe there's no other Cypher player, right? You could just like be only like minus, I don't know, like 8 to 12 HP from your regular spot, but instead now you have some resources.
Mm-hmm. I think Stellar Mini was playing Cypher games.
Okay, that makes it harder to play for sure. If there's one other Cypher player, it's quite a bit harder.
But yeah, the items too. I can tell whether play Nitro here or Exo.
I would think Exo just because you get the unit. Yeah, it looks like you see that as well, and then.
Then do we make Econ here?
Yeah, it's hard to sell. This one's kind of hard. A hard decision. Your next in is Elise, right? Nitro, yeah. Elise. So we're so poor. This is actually hard. In my opinion, it's a hard decision. I think you're meant to sell Shyvana pair and
Italy.
but the thing is your 2-star is Nafiri. I feel like I'd rather just have the Nidalee, and then it's cheaper as well.
So pass on Dynamo for.
I guess because we could sell Elise, right? Because Amp with Nafiri 2 is not even is actually pretty good, and it's just cheaper. I think I would probably in game sell Shyvana and Nidalee, but I think it's correct to sell Elise here, and then you can still opt to 2-star your Shyvana.
Okay. So not Spark. I feel like I haven't
Our
really
items are
taken
Rage
prep.
Blade.
Rage Blade, Open
Um,
Sword, and then a bunch of tank items.
isn't
I've
piercing pretty good? We have no shred
yeah,
yet.
no shred. Yeah. And then that way I can use the sword for like a DB or GS instead of IE with
Yeah,
the
I think
Holobow.
I like piercing here. Roll left and right.
Prep mostly take with reroll lines, right? Unless you already have like an early forecast.
Yeah, or you're like lost streak, and yeah, I think in general, yes, I would agree with that. I would have taken forward thinking here if you had the option to, but
Yeah.
you did not. Again, here, strongest is probably Nidalee over Elise, and then you stack all the items on Nafiri, the
Oh,
tank items.
yeah.
I don't know if it's diff here. I don't think it is, but actually, it might. It is diff. It is. I think it is diff
Okay.
because he has no anti heal, right? This Nafiri will heal so much more and survive way longer.
I got to play around the Fury more.
And Nafiri 2 is such a monster.
Did you even put the Rage Blade on the Fury?
The thing is, you have to burn 2 removers, and I feel like I'm not down.
Okay, but you would have just slammed the. Wait, I forget if I had Nefiri.
I'll just
When
put the
I
land. You did. I would put the lantern, Sunfire, and Vow all on Nafiri.
like when I first slammed Rage. Oh no, here you would put
No,
out
you
shit.
didn't have it yet. Yeah. Oh, we're so poor.
Do we burn a remover here to move Rage Blade onto Elise?
I don't hate it. It's just
Yeah, we're
I think
super.
it's fine. We're just so poor.
It's
Probably glove
Stoneplate
it.
or
Um,
Steadfast. So we have all the items we need for Zeri, right? Do we start a
yeah,
second item? Second, but we have. I forget what the third exo is.
it's another tank one, I think, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I'm down for steadfast.
Okay, make 2 full tanks.
Yeah, and then yeah, I think I'm down for that. You have a lot of DPS from your augment setup. You want econ here, right? I think the +8 is mandatory.
Oh,
+8, or you need econ, right? Like you already have double combat,
yeah.
right? Like if you look at our gold situation, if we level, you were so poor, right?
Yeah.
You must get gold here. We are so poor. You must take gold, and so I would roll. I would roll anything that doesn't have gold in it. So I would roll right. I don't think I like roll the dice at all. So I would also roll that. But oh yeah, I think taking this is really hard.
So calculate enhancement.
I would default that over right for sure because you're +8 gold with that, and then I would just pray that right gives me some econ options as well.
Okay.
Like here, with this much gold, like what are the odds we find the units if we're potentially contested? It's so low.
Yeah. So this is a high roll.
I guess you could argue. Okay, you could make the argument that all you need is one copy. Your augment setup is very strong with this, and so you could also make the argument that you just need one copy, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of it depends on how contested you are, because in some games finding the one copy can be very hard, and in other games it's easy. So like
That's
here, I feel like your spot doesn't look that bad anymore.
yeah. That was definitely a put sword on a unit diff.
But you could even argue you prefer to lose here. You need gold anyway,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I don't even hate losing here, and then I wouldn't even mind losing like a tiny loss here, and then you take an item and then you spike. You take a unit, take an like here. I definitely take a Zeri or a Sejuani, right? And then Okay, I'm kind of I'm shuffling a little on whether your augment choice is bad or not. I think it really depends on how contested you are. Your 4-2 augment, because if you're not contested, I think it's a good choice.
This game is two-way contested. Although one of them was the Cypher player. I guess you could say it's one-way contested.
Mhm.
This is kind of like the spatula discussion we had yesterday. Probably
Mhm.
not it, right? Like
Your items are
open sword, open.
like here I just really want the 5 cost because of the gold situation we're in. And so then that leaves, what are we taking though? Adaptive is pretty fucking good though.
Uh,
I think I would take adaptive here. What did you go for?
what did I go for? Did I take a belt? Oh, I forgot I had tread already.
I mean, this is more shred. I don't think it's a bad item choice. It's just it's more so that a 1 cost is so painful to take here. Oh,
Yeah.
we're 3-way. We're 3-way. Oh, I think then your augment choice is, well, again, you could argue. At least now you can say you can beat these guys on 1 star because you have more combat than them potentially. But um, yeah, I would have been scared of whiffing entirely on 4-2.
Mhm.
I think calculated to me sounds, isn't calculated actually better than cyber plus spears will, because you get more stats. Uplink is just like just whatever. I think it's not awful. It's not amazing either. And then it's plus 8 gold and it's more stats, and it scales off your crit and plus 8 gold. Yeah.
I guess the like how much are you valuing or not valuing the uplink HP? Also, given that we have so many items from Exotech and then also
Yeah, it
benefits.
definitely does help in that regard. But you can even argue that like it's uh you already have a lot of stats, I guess, from Exo itself. But yeah,
Mhm.
you are able to pocket on your basically your whole board, right, from Uplink. So it is good in that regard.
So here I assume I'm gonna roll down, hit Sedge, like low on HP.
Yeah. Um
This wants to be oh, Bastion.
Bruiser, Dynamo, something like that. Yeah.
And yes. Or no, that's not
Uh
an option. Um oh yeah, GS is already it's like a rod or something. I'm basically trying to make full Ferris item.
yeah, full, yeah, I think Rod is fine here. You're trying to complete the various items, yeah.
Oh, oh, because I was thinking flex
Redemption
between.
as well. This is fine. Um
I guess if I had the option of redemption versus guard breaker, third item's more valuable. Well, I guess I have my items split between Jackson right now. Would you have picked redemption over guard breaker?
I think 3-item backline is good here because we have a lot of frontline units, right? And we're
Yeah.
1 star Zeri, so I think we could use some DPS. I'm actually wavering internally on whether a 3-way contest means we want plus 8 gold or if we want double combat. Because on the one hand, plus 8 gold doesn't really help you 2-star. Like, I mean, it helps you, but like it doesn't get you any closer to really to 2-starring. It helps you hit your 1-star. But if you expect that you are going to hit your 1-star regardless, then the double combat is probably better
Yeah.
because you can win on 1-star.
I think Appy's made the same point a while ago when I had some coaching sessions with him, that when you're super contested and you are hard committed and you know nobody's gonna hit the 2 stars,
And
at
the
least for a
combat
long
helps you win on
time.
1-star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can sort of see that argument as well. So I'm a little less only because plus 8 gold is not enough. I think if it is like, for example, if it was plus 80 gold, you obviously take it. It's just a matter of thresholds, right? Of how much gold it is.
Right. To your point, though, the value of calculated enhancement from a combat pure standpoint, like, could still be roughly equal to this.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I feel like it's pretty close. And so then eight allows you to make sure you hit the one. I think you could easily argue you can miss the 1 star from how much gold you had is the concern, right?
Right. I had, how much did I have?
You had like maybe 30 gold if you sold all your units, I think. Right? Yeah, if you sold Elise and Shyvana, it's like just over 30.
Right. Which
And
in
that's definitely
expectation
missable.
is like, is
It's like
usually you're gonna
20
hit one.
within 20 gold. If you're uncontested, yeah, with 20 gold.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's like 50-50 to hit one copy on 20 gold. So 50-50-ish. So then it's a little worse than 50-50.
Yeah. So
With
that
plus
8
8
gold
gold, then the
helps a
odds are
lot.
probably closer to 70. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I need to think about this comp a lot more. It really is similar to Callista, right?
Yeah. It's just any meta where everyone's playing the units and yeah, you just and there's no flexing the board. That you must have econ or you don't or like you have good reason to believe you'll beat people without even hitting, which doesn't really happen that often. Like the thing is, yeah, every other player that's not Zeri will beat you, beat all of you, right? And then you all go 6, 7, 8.
Although this board can be somewhat stable in stage
Oh yeah,
4
yeah, for sure.
off
Even
of
now
just
that
one
you have
star.
Sedge 2,
Yeah.
now that you have Sedge 2, for sure. Everything's up. You're just missing one upgrade. And Zeri with these items in this augment setup is basically like a 1.8 star. A 2 star, it's like a 2.6 star.
Right.
And this guy's 50 gold. Yes, there's still a chance here. You're not super dead here.
Praying for Zeri here.
I think Shojin is strongest here, right? And you move Dynamo off. I think.
Ujin,
I think.
I see.
Oh, I don't hate Vow as well.
Like with
Because Vow
double
is also very.
Val, should be able to double or triple cast, right?
Yeah, I think Vow is also very good. So Vow this unit. Um I do like the Sunfire being the one item that's off. I'm just not sure with Sedge if it's this. I think this is stronger. Yeah, I think this combo is fine. Because the green item's also good when you have Vow, right? On Sedge.
Oh, right. Right, we were
But I
talking
think this
about
is
that with
also fine.
Setsuko.
Yeah. This is also fine. This
So would you
guy's
keep
Zeri
green
too.
over blue then?
I think it's close. I think it's fine doing either. I mean, you're not gonna be able to buy anyway if you sell, so you
Yeah.
have to find another unit to downgrade. So it's hard.
Yeah, and that's it. I was surprised that Sedge couldn't stun the TF from this angle.
Oh, they're positioning very well. This is just the anti-sedge positioning. When you have a TF, it's only right corner that has this workout. When you have a unit in right corner and you have your frontline units not the rightmost unit on your front line should be you can even have a unit next to Braum here, I think, and you
Uh-huh.
still will CC his TF. It actually makes the positioning really degen. Where with TF, you're meant and when there's sedge in your pool, you're meant to just put the units in this exact not in this exact positioning because here if you know he's positioning exactly like this, you can put your sedge in A1 and on A1 your sedge will actually walk straight into his TF. I don't know if that's amazing for this fight. I think it is because he only has one threat. If he had other threats on the other corner, that's maybe not be good. But usually, what you do as TF player is you have your like the Darius or the Gragas one hex to the right of the Braum here,
Uh-huh.
and the Sedge will still never CC the TF.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what is it, D5? Yeah, D5. Sorry, A5. When you have a unit on A5.
Okay. All right. So I guess in summary for both of these games, really just making sure that I am scouting actively, especially since um, this comp is so contested now. And if it is contested, I should be looking for alternate outs, like in game one, pivoting towards Aphelios and getting like a top 4 or 5. And then
Mhm.
in situations where I am going to try to contest, I should be looking for more gold in the augments. Um, in the case that it's like heavily contested, we kind of like what we discussed, then it can make sense to take combat if I'm pretty sure everyone's just going to be on 1 star. But
Yeah.
ideally, I from the early game already like have some type of econ augment or portal or something that makes it more likely that I can hit even if I'm contested.
Yeah, I think so. And then the other thing is if you're playing the lines that are not the S tier line, you must hold the units. Like the thing is you will have excess gold in expectation, and if you don't hold the Zeris and Zedwanis, then the two players both will hit, and then you're still gonna lose anyway. So you must hold Zeri Sedge.
Mm.
It's just that kind of patch where like there are two super S tier lines, and you have to play around it entirely. Um, yeah, your game plan has to be around scouting how many people are playing it, what are your alternate lines, and every shop you have Zeri or Sedge, assuming that there are two players playing it in your. I mean, there will be a very random game every now and then. There's only one player playing it, in which case don't even bother. They're going to hit anyway. But if there are at least two or three players, you must hold them all, and then you can at least take a placement over those guys. An expectation.